What's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOFTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWE in the year 2002, and we are booking the brand era of the WWE with our own little spin on it. Of course, if you watch the Invasion series, you would know about it. It's not Raw versus SmackDown, it is Raw versus Nitro. But tonight is all about Raw because we are booking a Raw pay-per-view. So with that being said, don't got anything else really much to say. I say let's just jump right into the show. Hopefully this is uploaded on Sunday. If not, at least it's Monday. But anyway, we do got a couple of pre-show matches here tonight. We're still in the New York Yankee Stadium, as we should be. I mean, technically the Sunday Night Heat Super Show and Backlash should be on the same nights. Either way, though, we got our opening pre-show matchup of the night, which gets a 45 solid D rating to it. And a terrible pre-show matchup. Mark Jindrak goes over Cody Hawk, one of our developmental superstars, in 2 minutes 43 seconds by pinfall with a super kick. Interesting choice of a finisher there, Mark. Huh. Bobby Heenan doing some good work ringside. We already know about their good pairing, which is awesome, as we'll see later on in Mark Jindrak's pay-per-view debut. But anyway, Mark Jindrak, of course, stood out as being good. I mean, he should. He's a main roster superstar. With his in-ring performance of a 64, Cody Hawk with a 17. We're not quite ready to change his gimmick quite yet. We'll go ahead and we'll do that when we debut him on the pre-show, which, spoiler alert, he will have another segment tonight. Mark Jindrak is improving in his performance, so that's good for him. Always good to see Mark Jindrak improving. Would have liked to see Cody improve a little bit, considering, he's a developmental star, and this is, well, maybe not star, but he's a developmental talent, and would have liked to seen him take the advantage of this appearance here tonight. By the way, I think I said earlier that Mark Jindrak had another segment on the pre-show. I meant the main show, if I did say that. But anyway, let us go ahead and move on to our next matchup, which gets a 37D minus rating here. We have an abysmal matchup. Steve Blackman and Tajiri, a new team here that I was testing out, going over the team of the Bell Brothers in 6 minutes 2 seconds when Tajiri defeated Mike Bell with a brainbuster. Jesus, Tajiri. Calm down. It was just a pre-show match. Mark Bell apparently was the weak link of the matchup here, struggling to keep up with everybody else's in-ring performance. In fact, he was so bad that the crowd chanted against him, telling him not to come back. We don't like Mark Bell. Your brother Mike, he's okay. Mark, get the fuck out of here. And in case you're wondering why I decided to randomly team Steve Blackman and Tajiri up, I'm kind of thinking about running a storyline with them, but I wanted to make sure that they had at least neutral chemistry, which they do. It would have been awesome if they had great or good chemistry or anything like that when teaming, but at least they have neutral chemistry. It's not negative, so I think I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the storyline that I do have planned for these two. Unfortunately, that means I am going to have to nix the team of the Kane Gang between the Sandman and Steve Blackman. I had originally had plans for have Steve Blackman team with the Sandman and kind of be a team in the future, of course being Singapore Canes, and maybe even have them feud in the future, but I am going to move forward with this because this is going to be a Raw team and Sandman and Blackman was a Heat team. That's how Sunday Night Heat works, guys. Sometimes they get robbed. Okay, so moving on. Mark Bell with a 7 in-ring performance. That was the guy that nobody liked. Mike Bell with an in-ring performance of a 17, so surprisingly, he's 10 points better than his brother. And I think that's Mike Bell. Yep, and this is Mark. Tajiri with an in-ring performance of a 41, and Steve Blackman with a 47. So it's pretty good to see that they're kind of close to each other. Not too close. They got about up a 6-point difference, but still. Mike Bell, making the most of his appearance here tonight, got an improvement in his performance skill. Would have liked to see Mark Bell get an improvement. I mean, he was the weak link here, so it would have been nice to see if he was, getting a little better. I'm not opposed to releasing Mark Bell if it has to come down to it. I can push Mike Bell by himself. Moving on, we go on to a 64 solid C rating here in our main event of the pre-show. 64 Solid C in a poor pre-show matchup here. The team of Albert, Bradshaw, The Godfather, Val Venus, and Tracy Brooklyn, of course, that trio better known as the Pimp Party, going over the team of Molly Holly, Damnation, which is Ron Simmons and Rodney Mack, and the Boogie Knights, which is Alex Wright, Das Wunderkid, and Disco Inferno, who are new to Monday Night Raw. I went ahead and decided that Nitro probably had a little too much talent, and some of the cruiserweights, like Tajiri, for instance, and the Boogie Knights, can probably move over to Monday Night Raw, where they might not get a lot of attention in the cruiserweight division at this time, where they might get a lot more attention here on Monday Night Raw, maybe as tag team stars, or you never know. I am short on faces, so. But anyway, after 9 minutes, 10 seconds, when Bradshaw defeats Disco Inferno with a clothesline from hell. And it says there's lots of turns in this match because my whole idea is pretty much Rodney Mack, Ron Simmons, Molly Holly, all pretty much annoyed with Disco Inferno and Das Wunderkid, Alex Wright. Mostly Disco Inferno, who's the more out there of the two. And they all kind of bail on Disco Inferno and Alex Wright, leaving it to pretty much a 5-on-2 matchup. And, well, I'd imagine the duo getting hit with numerous finishers, maybe even Tracy Brooklyn's finisher, to end off the match. Vocal crowd still not happy with seeing Rodney Mack wrestle. Rodney Mack is going to be a challenge. If Tracy Brooklyn performed better than Rodney Mack here tonight, I'm gonna be pretty livid. I'm not gonna lie. So the vocal crowd not too happy with seeing Rodney Mack wrestle. I don't know if that'll ever change. He's just gonna have to get better. Alex Wright seemed off his game. That's unfortunate, but he was making his Monday Night Raw debut, so I can see why Das Wunderkid might have been a little nervous here. Albert looking good out there. Tracy Brooklyn with an in-ring performance of a 32. Remember that because I want to see what Rodney Mack is at. So 32 is what Rodney Mack has to beat. Val Venus with an in-ring performance of a 48. The Godfather with a 48. So these two are on par with each other. Bradshaw with a 67. Albert with a 74. So he was most definitely the best performer of the night. Or of this match, I should say. Molly Holly with a 49. Every time I scroll down, I think I'm going to see Rodney Mack, so I'm just preparing myself. Disco Inferno with an in-ring performance of a 48, so he could not. Molly Holly outperformed Disco Inferno. Molly is either pretty damn good or Disco is just not that good. Das Wunderkid with a 48. I'm going to go on a limb and say Molly Holly is pretty damn good. Okay, Rodney Mack is safe, you guys. Rodney Mack with an in-ring performance of a 40. He did outperform Tracy Brooklyn. Mind you, he probably has a little bit more popularity than Tracy Brooklyn has, but he did outperform her. That is a bit of a relief. Not Molly Holly, though, but neither did Disco Inferno and Alex Wright, so I can't give them too much of a grief here. Molly just might be good. And Ron Simmons with a 68 in-ring performance, so he was the second best. He outperformed Bradshaw. So Rodney Mack, definitely the worst of all the males, but at least he was better than Tracy Brooklyn. Not trying to rag on Tracy Brooklyn. I'm just saying, in the game, TEW, the women tend to get ranked a lot worse than the men do. So, at least he outperformed Tracy Brooklyn, who I believe also has less popularity than him as well. So, but it is kind of worrisome that if she does have less popularity, and not trying to be sexist, but she is a female, and this game likes to judge, not me, the game, it's kind of worrisome that they are kind of close enough in points. I mean, what was Rodney Mack? He's a 40, she's a 32. That's about an 8-point difference. If I got Tracy some popularity, she'd probably be performing around a 40. So, and that is the goal, eventually. Either way, though, Molly Holly improving, almost said improving in performance. Improving in her performance skills, and thank God, Rodney Mack as well is improving in his performance skills. There is hope, everybody. There is hope. All right, I'm going to take a quick drink of some Great Value purified drinking water. Sponsored, not sponsored. Oh, that's good. That's good water. And let's move on to the show, Backlash. Our opening segment gets a 76B- rating here. That's a bit disappointing considering who is in this segment here, but nonetheless, 76B- rating. The Backlash opening video package begins to play, hyping up the matches that we'll be seeing tonight. And as it begins to play, it gets hijacked, and the screen begins to read, "The following message is brought to you by The Click." And that's when static takes over the screen, and the music of The Click begins to play, and the stable makes their way down to the ring to open up the pay-per-view. And once in the ring, Kevin Nash is the first to take the mic, and he goes on to say, "How you doing tonight, New York? Are you ready? Are you ready to see the Immortal One? Are you ready to eat your vitamins and say your prayers? Are you ready to see Hulk Hogan return to the ring and wrestle his first one-on-one match on a WWE pay-per-view in years? Well, you shouldn't be. Because in case you didn't see, we put him in the hospital a few weeks back. And trust me, after the beatdown we gave him, there ain't no way he's hulking up ever again." And then Triple H takes to the mic and he says, "You're damn right. And Hogan, I hope you're listening. And not in some plane on your way here to New York. Because I swear to you that if you show up, I'm gonna cripple you. But enough talk. Ref, give me my handy-dandy notepad. And ring that damn bell. And let's start this match already." And that's when the referee, of course, a little intimidated, but agreeing, "It is time to start this match. Let's go ahead and get it underway. Triple H versus Hulk Hogan right here, right now." The referee begins to, he rings the bell. He begins to count the 10 count before he is interrupted by the music of Eric Bischoff, the Raw general manager. "I'm back. And I'm better than ever. But I'm back. And I'm making things better." Classic. Anyway, Bischoff comes out. He takes the mic and goes, "Hold on there. Hold on. We're not starting this match right now, so stop the count." Typical. Very typical of you, Bischoff. Protecting your buddy Hulk Hogan at all costs, aren't you? No, I'm not protecting Hulk Hogan. I'm just not about to have Hulk Hogan's return end in a forfeit. Because he wasn't given enough time to show up. Time? Are you saying that old bastard is stupid enough to show up? I'm saying that Hulk Hogan is on his way to New York and will be here to face you one-on-one in that ring, Triple H. That's what I'm saying. And I mean the one-on-one. Because if Shawn and Kev are seen out there, then you will be automatically disqualified. And you really don't want to be disqualified because your match with Hulk Hogan will be a #1 contendership match for the WWE Championship. And Triple H kind of taken aback because remember, the match was not originally scheduled to be for the #1 contendership. So this is a last-minute thing that Vince and Eric Bischoff have came up with. So Triple H once again takes the mic and he says, "You listen to me, Bischoff. You disqualify me, you're gonna regret it." Well, then tell your buddies to stay in the back. But you know what? You guys are the Click, right? So ultimately, you're gonna do what you want to do. But until then, get the hell out of my ring. And guys in the back, roll the video package. Let's get Backlash on their way, huh? And then the crowd, they pop and video package begins to replay again, and we get ready for Backlash. So 76 B-, unfortunately, not the way I would have liked to start off the show. I mean, with the talent in the ring, you would think they would do better. And honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think Shawn Michaels might have been the problem here. He was rated on overness. He's not the most over superstar at this moment, believe it or not. So that could be why. Anyway, though, Nash enjoying the freedom to go off script. Eric Bischoff insists on going off script. He's one of those guys, so anytime you see Bischoff, assume everybody talking is off script. Bischoff getting better at his gimmick. Interesting here enough, though, Triple H and Bischoff just having neutral. They just did okay going off script. Maybe they just followed the script. And at least this did get the crowd hotter. The crowd got a little psyched up for the show tonight. Like, ooh, we're going to see a number one contendership match, and Hulk Hogan's going to be here for sure? That's going to be good. Unfortunately, it lost heat for the Click Hulk Hogan feud. I'm hoping we'll gain it back a little later on tonight with some more of our segments, because this won't be the last segment we see tonight for these, or for that story, I should say. So I went ahead and I threw in the video package. Normally I really don't do this thing, but I figured since I referenced it, I should go ahead and do it. So Backlash video package, just kind of hyping up what matches we'll see, and mostly the main event matches here tonight. 77 solid B rating as we hype up the fact that we'll see The Undertaker defend his WWE title against Kurt Angle, Rhino and Goldberg face off in a grudge match, and Triple H taking on Hulk Hogan for the number one contendership for the WWE title, and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels is kind of hyped up there as well alongside Triple H because they're the Click. So we move on to our opening match of the night, which is going to be for the Intercontinental Championship. We get an 82 solid B rating here, and About That had good heat to it and a decent... I messed that up. Let's rewind that. Let's try it again. And About That had good heat to it and decent wrestling. Kane goes over Raven and retains the Intercontinental Championship in 12 minutes 50 seconds by pinfall with a chokeslam, following a botched interference by Vampiro. So the way I'd like to imagine this happening is Kane probably having the most of the control in the match. Raven maybe, cheating his way here and there, using distractions to his benefit. Unfortunately for Raven, the time when it came down for Vampiro to come out and spit the mist into Kane's face, it was Raven who was in the way instead, and Raven got a face full of mist courtesy of Vampiro, and while he was trying to rub his eyes, Kane grabbed him by the throat and chokeslams him for good measures to make his second defense of the Intercontinental Championship. Raven with an in-ring performance of a 70, Kane with an in-ring performance of an 80, so 10 points above his opponent here tonight, but that's to be expected from Kane. I mean, he's one of our main eventers. And the Operation Flock storyline advancing here as well. No worker improvements. And we move on to the next segment, which gets a 77 solid B rating as well. Nothing too special here as Vampiro goes in. He's checking on Raven, apologizing to him. I didn't mean to do that, boss. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he gets chokeslammed for good measure as well because, Kane doesn't show favoritisms. He'll give everyone a chokeslam. No worker improvement still. 73 solid C rating as JR and King send us back to Jonathan Coachman. And Coach begins by going on and saying, JR, King, joining me now, the WWE Women's Champion, Trish Stratus. Trish, tonight you hope to end things once and for all against Daphne when you defend your women's title against her, but at her own game in a hardcore match. How wise is that? Stratus looks at Coach and she says, it's not wise, Coach. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm probably making a mistake by agreeing to a hardcore match with Daphne. But I've got to do this. I've got to do this to end this between her and I. Because I'm tired of her stalking me and screaming, you took my baby, you took my baby. No, Daphne Duck. I beat you for this WWE Women's title. And after I beat you at your own game tonight, then there'll be no more excuses. And unfortunately, that does lose heat for the feud here tonight. So I was hoping that maybe this would help it out a bit, but especially because Coach wasn't rated. At least I don't think he was rated. But Trish not able to do it. But I think the fact that the Flock was kind of involved in this feud as well last minute with like that, I think it was an 8-man tag match or something we just had not too long ago, or maybe it was a 6-man. I think it was 8 because it had Boss Man, Saturn, Raven, and Daphne in it, and I believe it was the Dudleys, Kane, and Trish. Yeah. So anyway, I think that match kind of upped this storyline's heat up a little bit, so I don't think it'll be that bad. It's probably just back down to where it should be. Moving on, we go to a 73 B- rating here, as we already have RVD and Sabu in the ring waiting for the arrival of the Hardy Boys for this Falls Count Anywhere tag team matchup here. Remember, Matt Hardy challenging Sabu after, pretty much saying, we want to prove that we're Team Extreme, or who the true Team Extreme is, whatever. Anyway, they're waiting for the arrival of the Hardy Boys when we get a little bit of video that plays from the backstage area And we see the Hardys. They're making their way towards the entrance when all of a sudden Jeff grabs onto his brother's arm and he begins to, talk to him before they head out. And he goes, Matt, are you sure you want to go out there and do this? Of course I want to go out there and do this. Don't you? Why, Matt? Rob and Sabu are our friends. What are you trying to prove? And then Matt looks at Jeff, kind of in a little bit of a disbelief, and he goes, okay, well, let's make one thing straight first. I am not friends with Rob Van Dam and Sabu. And if you consider them friends, Jeffrey, then you need to reevaluate who you have in your life. And what am I trying to prove? This isn't about what I'm trying to prove. It's what us as a team are trying to prove. We are Team Extreme. And we're not going to let two fools from ECW take our name. Now let's go, baby bro. And Matt heads out, and Jeff just kind of reluctantly follows him because it's his brother, it's his partner, and at the end of the day, they got a match to get set. So let's go ahead and move forward. And we go into the matchup itself, which gets an 82 solid B rating here. And about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Rob Van Dam and Sabu defeat the Hardy Boys in 17 minutes, 41 seconds. When Sabu pins Matt Hardy. Ignore it by the springboard DDT because I got something else in my mind. So let's go ahead and erase that. We're just going to say by pinfall after something crazy happens. Also, you'll notice here Sabu makes defense number 3 of his Hardcore Championship. He is in this matchup. He did get the pin, so technically it is a defense because the Hardcore Championship is on the line all the time. And this ain't no 24/7 rules. Oh, because this match is on the line, the rules are suspended. No. It's on the line. But then again, I think I fudged that up anyway. I think never mind. Yeah, the 24/7 title's on the line, and that's when the rules don't set in. I was thinking even in a regular match for R-Truth. And it might be that way. Like if R-Truth isn't defending the 24/7 title in a match, like say like that tag team match not that long ago, that's what I would think. I don't know if the 24/7 title is on the line in that tag team match with The Miz, or they're like, oh, the rules are suspended during this match. But that's not the case in the Hardcore Championship. It's on the line whenever Sabu is in a match and whenever a referee is present. So even in tag team matches, if Sabu gets pinned, Matt Hardy would be the new Hardcore Champion, or Jeff Hardy. But moving on, we're focusing way too much on that, because what I would like to explain here is we can see Sabu and Matt both took a stump bump during this match. Now, it's not a risky bump. It was a stump bump, so of course it's got a little bit of padding in there. So maybe some people are like, Sabu, come on, Sabu would totally do it, and they both actually would have done a crazy bump. But I'm the one that decided against it because I believe I just had Sabu and Matt both take a crazy bump at WrestleMania. I think it was them exactly. I could be wrong. It might have been Jeff, but I think it was them. So my idea here was maybe not again. And this is a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. So pretty much my whole idea is like maybe they're like, since they're, the Hardys are all about climbing, Matt was climbing up like that Titantron area, kind of similar to, Steve Blackman and Shane McMahon, that little Titantron area. Matt was climbing over there, going to do like the leg drop off of it, and that's when Sabu climbs up with him. Maybe, I was going to say maybe he throws him down, but that would break it anyway. Anyway, Sabu maybe jumps with Matt, does a bulldog. I don't know. I was thinking Sabu drops the leg, but that wouldn't make much sense if he has to throw Matt Hardy down. Maybe Matt's already set up. But I would like it to be both of them coming down at the same time now that I think about it. So maybe a bulldog. I don't know what it is, but Sabu and Matt come flying down at the same time. And Sabu picks up the victory. 1, 2, 3 over Matt Hardy. I imagine just RVD and Jeff are already gone at this moment. Anyway, RVD and Sabu win the match. It took me way too long to explain that. Of course, the Hardys have excellent chemistry. We know this. Sabu with an in-ring performance of a 72. Rob Van Dam with an 82, matching Jeff Hardy. So RVD and Jeff Hardy, both the best in-ring performers of this matchup with an 82. Matt Hardy with a 70 heat, and this goes ahead and gains heat for the Real Team Extreme storyline. And Matt Hardy improving in his performance. Good stuff. Good stuff. No, not yet. 71 solid, or excuse me, not a solid, 71 B- rating here as we are backstage in the Click's locker room. and they are planning for what they are going to do with Hulk Hogan tonight. That's when Kevin Nash speaks up and he goes, "Look, I don't see why we're playing by Bischoff's rules. I mean, we do what we want when we want. He DQs him, we just take Hogan out for good. Can't challenge for the title when you're a vegetable laying in a hospital bed." And then Triple H kind of looks at him and he goes, "I don't give a damn if Hogan gets a title shot or not. It's not about keeping Hogan away from the title. It's about getting the damn title to the Clique. And I can't very well do that if I get disqualified, genius." Well, excuse me for not giving a damn. Didn't realize this was Stroke Triple H's ego's hour. Why are we so concerned with getting you a title anyway? And then Triple H, still kind of irritated by Nash, goes on to say, "It's not about me. It's about us. One of you could have fought your way into that tournament over on Nitro. Or hell, you could have even gone after the Heat Championship. But you didn't. So don't blame me. And why the hell are you so quiet, Sean? Sure hope you thought of something with all..." Let me try that again. "Sure hope you thought of something with how little you're saying." My Triple H sounds like Wolverine sometimes. And then Shawn Michaels goes on. He goes, "Actually, I have. Let me just pull out my handy-dandy notepad real quick." Oh, I guess I guess I never wrote anything down on the handy-dandy notepad. So actually, I have. That's all he said. Actually, I just remembered that. So he goes, "Actually, I have." They kind of get close into each other and start talking. And well, we don't hear anything because we're the fans, but they're planning here. Shawn Michaels getting better at his gimmick, but again, lost heat. I don't know. Is it Stephanie? Is she not sexy enough? I don't know. This is interesting. Lost heat again. Maybe it's just Hogan's too damn good. He raises it up. But it's Triple H in them in there. Come on. It has to be like Nash or Michaels. Anyway, 79 solid B rating as we just get a quick look at Goldberg's locker room, confirming that, yes, indeed, Goldberg is here. Everyone's blocking it. Goldberg's here. You know how it works. 64 solid C rating here as backstage Kurt Angle is seen sitting, thinking about his upcoming title match when in walks his brother, Eric Angle. And he goes on to say, "Hey, baby bro, how you feeling?" "Oh, well, my back is still killing me from the chokeslam Taker gave me on Raw, but besides from that, I'm ready for the dead man." "Yeah, hey, look, I'm sorry about what happened to you on Raw. I can't believe I'm saying this, but, well, maybe I should have listened to you, okay? You were right. I was in over my head, and at the end of the day, I got my baby brother hurt. You know what, Angle? Or you know what, Kurt? Or, fuck. You know what, Eric? Don't worry about it. This is the WWE. That kind of thing happens more often than you'd think. But I'm glad you learned a lesson. And don't you damn think that this injury is going to slow me down tonight. I won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck. And tonight, I'm going to win the WWE Championship with a bum back." And that's when we hear a familiar voice from off screen come in. I'm sure you guys all know who it is, so I'm going to take a drink of water real quick. And he chimes in and he says, "That's the kind of thing I wanted to hear." "Mr. McMahon?" And McMahon comes in, of course, with his handy-dandy notepad ready and out. And he says, "Kurt, I was just stopping by to come and check on you before your upcoming match. And I've got to say, I'm happy to hear that you're going to give it your all. And honestly, I didn't expect less from you." "Are you okay, Mr. McMahon? You look kind of pale."
"Listen, Kurt, I'm sure you've heard about my issues with The Undertaker, and I'd much rather prefer to avoid the dead man at all cost. Now, I've always remained an unbiased boss throughout the years, but tonight may be the first time I'm actually rooting against a certain superstar. So let's just say between us, Kurt, I hope you win tonight. So, good luck."
And Vince McMahon extends his hand out to Kurt Angle to shake his hand. Got the hiccups now. And Kurt goes ahead. He shakes Vince's hand. He says, "I won't let you down, Mr. McMahon." And a little bit of a bias from Mr. McMahon here. I mean, He says he's never been biased throughout his entire career. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of superstars that would disagree with that. Anyway, though, the performance of Kurt Angle, fantastic. Eric Angle, dreadful. I will get him over. Oh, yes, I will get him over. Interesting enough, though, the fans don't mind Eric Angle, but they hate Rodney Mack. Like, they're like, get out of the ring, Rodney, you suck. But Eric, whenever he wrestles, they're not like, oh, yeah, get Eric out of the ring. They're like, yeah, whatever, Eric Angle, he sucks, but he's there. All right, moving on. 64 solid C rating as we get to our hardcore women's championship matchup here. And about that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling to it. Trish Stratus does go ahead and defeat Daphne in 9 minutes 41 seconds by pinfall with Stratusfaction, making her second defense of the women's championship. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I did a hardcore match at WrestleMania. I could have, but I don't think I did. And if I did, then so be it. But either way, Trish goes ahead. She beats Daphne here tonight, thus ending the feud. This feud is over. Trish is going to move on to somebody else. And there you have it. Beats her at her own game, a hardcore game. Unfortunately, Trish's gimmick is getting a little stale, so we'll have to fix that. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. But real quick, before we move on, as you guys can see, our backstage is at a 0%. I mentioned these in the Sunday Night Heat video, but of course, you know, what happened, so... And we are still recording, right? Just to be sure. Okay. So real quick, I guess we can go over them real quick right now. Sergeant Slaughter said that Billy Kidman has little upside, which honestly is kind of shocking to me because Billy's one of our top cruiserweights. So to hear someone say that, I was like, wow, damn. Sorry, Billy. Ultimate Pro Wrestling, or UPW, are in danger of closing their doors. I was tempted to kind of buy them off and make them one of my developmental companies, but at the same time, I was like, why? I already have 3 developmental companies. I really don't need a 4th one. I'd really only be doing it to save the company. And I mean, I guess at the end of the day, that's not my fault. You guys are, you know, in favor, almost bankrupt. So thought I'd just let you guys know that, yeah, they're probably going to go bankrupt if you guys even know what UPW is. And Classy, Freddie Blassie, has now retired. He's no longer in the wrestling industry, which is unfortunate, I guess, in a way. I was never going to use him, so it's okay to me. Trish's gimmick's getting stale, so we'll have to fix that up. Daphne with an in-ring performance of a 50. Trish Stratus with a 61. Trish is getting good. No worker improvements. Moving on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. 62 solid C rating, everybody. As Trish is still celebrating in the ring, she is all of a sudden interrupted by the sudden appearance of Bobby the Brain Heenan. Last time we saw Bobby the Brain Heenan, he was fired from Nitro. And here he is on Monday Night Raw. Well, I guess on Backlash, but a Raw pay-per-view. And Heenan comes out and he goes, all right. Now that you pervs have gotten your daily dose of TNA, allow me to do something special for the ladies. And no, don't you worry, it's not me. Because ladies, while the men are too busy looking at the ladies, I'd like you to feast your eyes over here as I unveil the reflection of perfection, Mark Jindrak. And Bobby Heenan pulls down the curtain, or I guess pulls up the curtain, whatever you want to imagine it as being. I imagine it kind of like a la that Royal Rumble that Lex Luger debuted his narcissist gimmick at. So it's kind of like one of those round curtain, round like podiums with the curtain around it, and the curtains are kind of opening up, and you just see Mark Jindrak sitting there posing in front of the mirror, flexing, looking swole. Meanwhile, Bobby Heenan's practically orgasming over him. It's pretty much a ripoff exact of that Lex Luger angle from the Royal Rumble, where Bobby Heenan's just like, look at those glutes, look at those thighs, look at his biceps, his triceps, just putting over how strong Mark Jindrak is and how big Mark Jindrak is. And then finally, he's decided, all right, that's enough. And he goes, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, ladies. He's pulling the curtain back. Mark Jindrak is still flexing as the curtain's going back up or closing, whatever you want to call it, until it finally closes. And he goes, but it had to be done. We had a ride before we had a ride on our hands. But now that you've gotten a sneak peek of the reflection of perfection. Be sure to tune in to Raw tomorrow to see Mark Jindrak's Monday Night Raw debut. So until then, ladies, have a great night. And he leaves. Of course, Mark Jindrak's podium probably lowers back down into the stage. I'd imagine maybe it rose up and smoke came up as, he was putting it over. And yeah, there you go. Debuts Mark Jindrak. Let's go ahead and debut his new gimmick, which is going to be a narcissist gimmick. He's, like I said, it's pretty much Lex Luger's gimmick from before he became, the All-American. Oh, no! Oh, no! Below average? Oh, no! This was my gimmick. This was my baby. You can't do this to me, TEW. You can't do it to me. Below average, they did me dirty. Oh my God. It's going to be a project now. I was hoping that it would have at least gotten average. Below average isn't the worst. It's not awful. It can always improve. But this is not a good start for the narcissist gimmick for Mark Jindrak. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. That is not good. He had a good gimmick before, too, so that is not good. Oh, anyway, that goes ahead and starts the storyline, the reflection of perfection. But now I'm a little worried for Mark Jindrak's future. Did I just doom Mark Jindrak? I hope not. 69 C+ rating. I'm going to be honest, this pay-per-view is starting to worry me a little bit here. We might lose popularity. 69 C+ rating here as Bossman and Perry Saturn are about to head out for their tag team title match against the Dudleys when they are stopped by Raven before they can leave. And Raven goes, "Gentlemen, can I speak to you before you head out there?" And Saturn, a little nervous because between you and I, guys, Bossman and Perry Saturn are undercover agents trying to infiltrate the flock and expose them for the cult that they are. And Perry Saturn is really just kind of like the infiltrator because he used to be a former member of the flock, and Bossman's the police officer, and Saturn's kind of in training. But that's just between you and I, so don't tell anybody. Anyway, Saturn goes on to say, yeah, of course, whatever you need, boss. And then Bossman kind of, gives him one of those shots to the gut, like, shut up, be cool. And he says, what do you need, boss? Raven looks at them both and he says, "Well, look, I just want to make it clear that you two don't disappoint me tonight. Just like your brother and your sister did earlier." And Raven steps aside and you see a bloodied up Vampiro just kind of hunched over, looking like he's pretty much kind of unconscious, but he's kind of like hanging against the wall maybe. I don't want to say he's in a crucifix pattern, but he might be in a crucifix pattern. Let's not just go there, though. Anyway, Vampiro's hunched over. Daphne is just kind of huddled up, crying, checking on Vampiro, making sure she's okay. I'm not saying Daphne's hurt, but it's implied. Anyway, Raven goes on to continue, and he says, "Because you see, gentlemen, if this flock has any hope of finding the leader, then we need a sacrifice. And I'd prefer it to be gold. Don't make it be you. Now go." And Bossman and Saturn run off, and meanwhile Raven is still standing there watching them run off, and he just whispers the word, "Forever the flock. Nothing more." And there you have that. Just a quick little segment to get us into our tag team match. A little bit of a dark segment there. We are going to move on from here. We go on to a solid 80B rating here. Hell yeah. I should have probably taken Daphne off of them, but that's neither here nor there. I guess we'll just ignore the fact that Daphne's there. Anyway, in a decent matchup here, the Dudley Boyz, Bubba Ray and Devon, defeat the Flock, Bossman and Perry Saturn in 12 minutes 33 seconds when Bubba Ray defeats Bossman by pinfall with the 3D, and they make their first defense of the WWE Tag Team titles. Again, ignore Daphne, but Perry Saturn is getting better at his gimmick. We already know about the great chemistry between Bossman and Perry Saturn. We've known about the excellent chemistry between the Dudley Boyz, so this match just was gonna be good no matter what, pretty much. Got the crowd hotter. The face turns still aren't getting the biggest reactions in the world, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Perry Saturn with an in-ring performance of a 67. Bossman with a 59. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Bossman was the worst performer in this matchup. Bubba Ray Dudley with an 87. Good God. And Devon Dudley with an 84. Bubba almost close to a 90. Jesus. And the Operation Flock storyline gained some heat as well. So all in all, good stuff. No worker, or we do have some worker improvements. Perry Saturn improving in his performance skills. That's awesome. What do we... I guess we can go ahead. I'm not going to complete the gimmick change. So I was confused why it was saying complete the gimmick change. Anyway, though, Perry Saturn improving in his performance skills. Good stuff there. Good match. Great job, guys. We then go to a 72 B- rating, as once the match is over, Bubba and Devon, they kick Bossman and Saturn out of the ring before taking to the mic, and Bubba goes on to say, "Is this thing on? All right, good. Because Devon and I are here to make a declaration right here in the middle of this damn ring. I'm just going to come out and say it. The Dudley Boyz are the best damn team on the face of the planet, and there isn't a damn duo who could lace our boots. Not on Monday Night Raw, not on Friday Night Nitro, and not on Sunday Night Heat. Not on developmental feds, not over in Japan, Mexico, Canada, you name it, and we're better than them, and we'll back it up." And then they lay the belt, both Bubba and Devon lay the belts on the ground, and they say, "You name the time and the place, and Devon and I will be there to shut you the hell up. There's not a damn team in this universe who can touch us, and if you've got a problem with that, then step up and prove us wrong." And they toss the mic down, and they stop their declaration right there. The Dudley Boyz, they're saying it now. They're the best damn team in the world, and Devon ends it with an, "Oh, my brother, testify." No worker improvements, though. I was like, what the hell is this for a second? 76 B- rating here. I should have made this a freestyle segment. I don't know why I didn't. But anyway, this is just the video package hyping up that coming up next will be Hulk Hogan versus Triple H again. 76 B-? Yeesh, that's not promising. Alright, there we go. Finally a B+, but I'll be honest, these last three matches really got to reel us in. 87 B+ rating as Triple H makes his entrance for the upcoming match against Hulk Hogan when he takes to the mic after waiting for a few and he says, "Well, where is he? Are we supposed to wait all night? Where the hell is he? Look, I don't give a damn what Bischoff says. Start the damn count. The old man isn't coming. Did you hear me? I said start the damn count." And before the referee can even start the count, that's when the Tron begins to play a feed playing from the parking lot as a car pulls out. A car pulls up. I'm messing this up. A car pulls up. There we go. And out comes none other than Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan, he starts to walk his way down to the ringside area when Triple H chimes in, and he says, "Alzheimer's must have hit you early, old man. Either that or you're just stupider than I thought." I almost said you thought. "You want this fight? Then come get me." And, "That's if you can make it down to the ring first." And then that's when, on cue, Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels jump out from their hiding spots, who are just kind of, waiting for Hulk Hogan to arrive this whole time, and they begin to attack Hulk Hogan. Both Nash and Michaels have steel poles in their hands. They're just beating down on Hogan's back until pretty much they see that he goes, limp or whatever, or, he's not moving anymore. So they beat him down, and they decide that, okay, he's had enough, he's done, and they walk off, and they at the same time... Wait, what is this? Okay, I was like, what is going on here? So they walk off, they drop their poles, which ends up being a mistake, as we'll find out. But before they, get too far, that's when Hulk Hogan calls out to him, and he says, "Is that all you got, brother?" Or whatever. And then Kevin Nash, obviously kind of irritated by Hogan, walks over to finish him off, but doesn't realize that Hogan not only pulled up the handy-dandy notepad, but he also has a steel pole in hand. He picked up one of the steel poles that was dropped, and he gut checks Kevin Nash with it before smacking it across his back. Shawn goes running up and jumps over onto Hogan's back and begins to punch down at Hogan, but the Hulkster pulls him up and over his shoulder and onto the roof of the car. But before he can do much damage to Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash is back up and he goes right back after Hulk Hogan. The two big men brawl for a bit, and eventually Kevin Nash sets Hulk Hogan up onto a car roof of his own, not the same one that Shawn Michaels is laying on, and he sets Hogan up for a jackknife powerbomb on the off. He's going to jackknife him off the roof of the car, but unfortunately for Nash, Hogan lifts his shoulders up, forcing Kevin Nash to flip over him and off the car, so Kevin Nash takes a bump, probably tore his quad in the process. Takes a bump off the car and onto the ground, and Hulk Hogan, still seeing that Shawn Michaels is laying across the roof of the car with half his body hanging off of it, he seizes the opportunity, jumps off the car that he's on, and hits a diving leg drop onto Shawn Michaels, and pretty much takes him off the car as well. So both Kliq members are down and out right now, and Hulk Hogan begins to make his way towards the ring, single-handedly taking out both Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels. So he's heated. He's ready to go to war with Triple H, and hopefully, well, I guess it depends who you're a fan of. Hopefully for Triple H, Nash and Michaels were able to do a number on Hogan. But I guess if you want Hogan to win, then hopefully Hogan didn't take too much damage before the matchup here. Of course, Triple H and Stephanie have great chemistry, and that could be why these segments weren't doing too well. Because instead of having, basing Stephanie on sex appeal here, I wasn't letting the great chemistry take over. So maybe I'll just leave it like that and see where it goes from there. Hulk Hogan, of course, getting better at his gimmick. That's awesome. And finally gaining some heat back to this feud. A little bit of last-minute heat as we head into the matchup itself. No worker improvements. We go into said matchup, which gets a 77 solid B rating. I'll be honest, I'm not mad. That's about what I kind of expected. I would have liked it to be a B+, but I didn't know what to expect from Hulk Hogan. That was my main worry. I wasn't sure how he was going to perform, especially this being like his first official match. I mean, technically he had a match at WrestleMania, but that was more of an angle in the terms of TEW. It wasn't a match, even though there was some action happening. So this is his first official match back in the WWE. So he's still able to hang. I mean, 84 rating in ring performance, that's not bad at all. Not bad at all. And a bout that had fantastic heat to it and great wrestling. Triple H goes over Hulk Hogan in 13 minutes, 11 seconds by pinfall with a pedigree after Stephanie McMahon interferes. So even though Hogan was able to take care of Nash and Shawn Michaels, at the end of the day, Stephanie McMahon, the vixen that she is, the she-devil that she is, was able to cost Hulk Hogan a victory by distracting him long enough, or maybe even slapping Hogan across the face. I don't know. Whatever she did, it allowed Triple H to get a pedigree off and beat Hulk Hogan to become the new #1 contender to the WWE Championship. Triple H and Stephanie, of course, have their chemistry. JR and Jerry Lawler have their chemistry. Would have been nice to see if Triple H and Hogan had some good chemistry as well. Nonetheless, though, Triple H with an in-ring performance of an 87, Hulk Hogan with an 84. And Hogan, despite his age and everything, still improving his performance skills. Good on him. We're still recording, right? Good. I'm very cautious now, especially after one of you commented letting me know that OBS sometimes has been known to shut or stop recording on people, but it hasn't done that since their most recent update, but now I'm cautious. So I'd like to look at our negatives here, see what we got dinged for personally. Of course, the low locker room morale is going to ding us. I wonder how much that dings us, though. Like, Jesus. Hogan apparently is penalized for his inconsistency. A little bit of booking decisions here, but that's probably because we had Stephanie interfere. And apparently the short match length. I mean, what can you do? Probably won't be the last time they fight, so that's okay. It's a good first match between the two, I think, if we ever revisit in the future, which we most likely will. And then afterwards, Triple H and Stephanie have already left. They're ready. They're happy that they won, and Triple H is getting his title match. Meanwhile, Hulk Hogan, he's standing up in the ring. This is, like I said, technically his first match back. And it's his first match back as a face too. So, of course, the fans give him a standing ovation. They're still Hulkamaniacs, and they still run wild with Hulk Hogan. So 73 B- for that. That's okay. Moving on, we got a 79 solid B rating for the Rhino Goldberg video package as we get ready for that matchup. And I believe we're just jumping right into it. Yes, we are. And holy crap! 83 B plus? Hell yeah! I did not expect him to get a B plus. I honestly thought this match would get a B minus. I thought Goldberg being as inconsistent as he is and Rhino being kind of a relative new main eventer, it might not do too well, but holy crap, an 83 B plus. I can't wait to look for the dirt sheet after this. An bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling to it. Goldberg defeats Rhino in 9 minutes 40 seconds when Rhino gets himself intentionally disqualified. So despite all the trash talk, Rhino is not playing fair. He's not out here to just fight Goldberg. They're out here to brawl. I mean, I guess I should say this isn't a wrestling match. This is a fight. That's the old catchphrase. Rhino is out for blood pretty much, and he is out here pretty much. I don't know how. He's just decimating Goldberg. It came down to the point where maybe Goldberg was going for a spear or whatever. Rhino had a steel chair ready, picks it up. Goldberg runs face first into said steel chair, and the referee, of course, saw it right in front of his view. So he calls for the DQ. Rhino gets himself intentionally disqualified. But wait, there's more. But we'll get to that in a second. Goldberg seemed off his game. That's a bit unfortunate. I would like to see what this match would have done if Goldberg was on his game. The match suffered because there was not enough selling shown. That's to be expected. Rhino with an in-ring performance of an 83. Goldberg with an 87. So Rhino only 4 points below Goldberg. That's promising. That is promising. No worker improvements here, but let's go ahead and let's look at the dirt sheet real quick before we move this up. Rhino, of course, he suited well. This was a wild brawl, so that helped Rhino out a bit. Interesting enough that doesn't really help Goldberg out too much, though. You would think a wild brawl would help disguise his problems. Well booked. Always happy to see that. So low locker room morale. Goldberg apparently. Wait, what? Not dealing with the pressure of trying to go all out? How does that make sense? Goldberg was inconsistent. Locker room morale, lack of selling. Apparently it was too short. I can agree with that, but I wanted it shorter because why would it make sense for them to go all out just for Rhino to get DQ'd? When apparently that was his plan the whole time. Moving on, 79 solid B rating. This sucks, it lost heat. But anyway, 79 solid B rating as the ref continues to ring for the bell, but Rhino just isn't listening. He sees red. He continues his attack on Goldberg with the steel chair. They're smashing it over and over and over and over again over Goldberg's back until it is completely just bent out. And Rhino decides he's not done there. He rolls out of the ring. He goes ahead and he grabs a steel chain from under the ring and he wraps the chain around his fist before proceeding to get on top of Goldberg and then punch down at Goldberg's forehead. He's just beating it down, cutting up Goldberg's forehead. Blood is just now dripping from Goldberg's face onto Goldberg's face. And Rhino still not done. He decides he's not done. The referee's checking on Goldberg, seeing if he's okay. Rhino, on the other hand, goes to the outside of the ring. He pulls out a table, and he sets said table up. He then picks up Goldberg. He pushes the ref out of the way, picks Goldberg up. He lifts him up, hits him with Goldberg's own finisher, the jackhammer suplex. Did I mix those around? Yeah, Kevin Nash is the jackknife. Goldberg is the jackhammer. I always confused to get those mixed up. Anyway, he hits him with the jackhammer suplex right through the table, and Goldberg is just laying there pretty much unconscious. The medics, they come out there, check on Goldberg. They're trying to get Rhino away from the scene, and Rhino is just staring blankly at what he's done. He's very satisfied. He's got a smile across his face, a very sickening smile, but his eyes are blank. You don't know where he's at. Unfortunately, this did go ahead and lose seat for the feud. That is a bit of a shame, especially after that follow-up match, or that match with the 80 plus, I should say. But what can you do? Oof. I'm glad this wasn't rated for a main segment. Anyway, we get the video package for the Angle versus or excuse me, Kurt Angle versus Taker segment, I should say, or match, because I mean, there's more than one angle now. And I'd imagine the Eric angle is the reason this only got a 69C plus, which is crazy because Eric wasn't rated, which makes me think that even though he wasn't rated, they're still like, ugh, who cares? Oh boy, we're gonna lose popularity in this show. Watch, I feel it happening. All right, moving on to the main event of. Oh, excuse me, not yet. 59 solid C rating here as Kurt is heading out for his upcoming match. Before he can make his way to the ring, he stops. He turns to his brother Eric and he says, "Eric, you can't come out there with me." "What? Are you kidding me, baby bro? There's no way I'm letting you go out there against that madman." And then Kurt looks him in the eyes and he says, "You have to, though, Eric. Look, I understand you want to be out there to make sure nothing bad happens to me, but you'd be too much of a distraction. And look, no offense, but I'd be better off on my own out there." And Eric, he kind of looks a little disappointed at first, but he turns to Kurt. He has a big smile across his face and he goes, "That's my baby brother. Always thinking ahead. No offense taken, bud. I completely understand. Wouldn't want the dead man to use me against you or something like that, right? You know what? Don't even worry about it, man. You get out there and you come back with that world title, you hear? You know why? Because we're Angles." "Exactly. Now go make Dad proud. I'll be here, just back here." And Kurt storms off for his match, and Eric just kind of looks around like, "Yep, left alone again. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride," pretty much. Kurt came out looking excellent. Eric still dreadful. I'm going to get that note, too. Eric Angle, you used him too much. He is improving in acting, though, so there is hope. There is hope. So we go on to the main event of the night. Yeah, we're not gaining popularity. We'll be lucky to just break even in this pay-per-view. 78 solid B rating here for the main event, and a bout that had fantastic heat to it and great wrestling. The Undertaker defeats Kurt Angle in 17 minutes 41 seconds by pinfall with a last ride after a distraction from Eric Angle. Of course, during the match, Eric Angle distracted The Undertaker as well, but it wasn't enough to help his brother out because at the end of the day, the dead man makes his third defense of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Freaking hiccups come in last minute all the time. So pretty much what I'd like to imagine in this matchup here, there's a reason why Eric came down, a storyline reason, but we'll find that out in the future, probably on Raw. But anyway, here Eric comes down probably a bit halfway through the match. Bit of a distraction for both Kurt Angle and The Undertaker. Eric, kind of distracting Taker throughout the bout. And I'd imagine that, maybe Kurt has a ankle lock locked in or something, or, he has Taker kind of beat the Angle Slam or something like that. And Eric Angle gets a little overzealous, grabs the championship, and he goes into the ring to, celebrate with Kurt already. But the referee, not too happy about that. He sees someone, coming in the ring who's not supposed to be in the ring, bringing a championship in the ring as well, assuming that, what are you doing? So he gets in kind of Eric's face, what are you, causing a little bit of a distraction. Kurt stands up too, like, "Eric, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I just had the match won. Blah, 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 blah." Turns around. I'd imagine more of a tombstone pile driver, maybe not a last ride. And then Taker kind of maybe hitting Eric Angle with a big boot as well, and he goes flying out of the ring. And then 1, 2, 3 beats Kurt Angle to retain the WWE Championship just like that. Taker, of course, he did suffer an injury on Monday Night Raw, so he was slowed a little bit by that injury, which unfortunately we just had to roll with the punches. Kurt Angle with an in-ring performance of an 86, Undertaker with an 87. Jesus. That is not what they're used to. This backstage is definitely kicking my ass right now. Does anybody know if there's a cheat code, like to reset your backstage rating or something? Does anybody know? Because if there's a cheat code, I'll use it. I won't lie. I'll use it. Anyway, this did gain heat for the Brotherly Love segment, so I guess that's something. Undertaker's improving in his performance skills. That's also something. Let's go ahead and check out the dirt sheet real quick just to see Kurt Angle apparently was holding back. Low locker room morale, as we already know. Taker working through that injury. They're both technically faces, so there's an odd combo there. Low storyline heat for the Brotherly Love storyline. And, well, this wasn't really associated with the storyline anyway, so that's to be understood. It's my fault, but what can you do? So we end off the show, and... Okay. Well, at least we didn't lose popularity, okay? Okay? So that's a plus. At least we didn't lose popularity, but we didn't gain popularity, so we still did lose popularity. We lost popularity in 17 regions because of Sunday Night Heat. This show was supposed to hopefully gain us that 17 back. It didn't. But at least we didn't lose 17 more popularity. 81 solid B rating for Backlash. That's a Backlash grade. That's a Backlash grade. What can you expect? Even though we had some stronger matches on here, but that's still a Backlash grade. So let's see. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Let's look back through the show real quick. I want to see who deserves it. Who deserves my appreciation? What was the best match? I should be looking at that for one. The 78 for that match. Goldberg and Rhino got that 83. That was probably the best match of the night, yeah. But Goldberg was off his game. I don't want to give him a plus for being off his game, so I'll probably congratulate Rhino there. Dudley Boyz got that 80. That might be... Was that... Actually, the RVD match was... Their match was better than the Dudley Boyz match. So was the Kane Raven match. Okay. So we're definitely going to give Rhino... We're going to compliment Rhino on a good performance. And I think we'll tell... Let's give it to Kane and Raven. Because they opened up the show. So they got the show off to a good start as well. Well, they didn't open up the show, but you know what I mean. Rhino seemed pleased. Kane seemed pleased. And Raven was probably like, Vince McMahon's telling me, good job. That's a first. Either way, though, oh, look, it's May Flowers, one of the fourth of a bizarre extended trios team with Povo de la Estados, Pepe La Escala, and Cassandro. They are men dressed as women. What a surprise. Either way, though, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you have not already. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your friends, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. I don't give a dams. Anybody you feel would enjoy my content, help your boy out here, and send them on to my way to help get some new subscribers up in this bitch. With that being said, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOFTW, BRB. I'm curious. Let's see if we have any critiques. Oh. Some people are no longer freelancers. There's a lot of stuff here. Interesting. So let's go ahead. Before we end this off, we're going to look at a couple of these opinions. So, Goldberg, Disco Inferno doesn't connect with the fans. We should probably write him off. Damn. Mark Jindrak has an opinion. Oh, shit. Val Venus is a natural talker. He's worth giving promo time to, in my opinion. Some positive feedback, too. And apparently, Triple H is building a clique. Makes sense. He's a part of a clique. He's formed an alliance between Stephanie McMahon and Kevin Nash. I'll have fun looking at the rest of these here. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I'll see you guys